Tesla and SpaceX just announced $16.8 billion to begin building a semiconductor complex in Texas. An earlier filing said the full project could eventually reach $119 billion, but the signed county agreement only requires $5 billion of investment by 2030. And while these companies are talking about controlling more of their own chip supply, Tesla is still buying chips from Samsung and TSMC. So why spend billions trying to own more of a business that Apple, Amazon, and Google still outsource? By the end, the answer comes down to three conditions. Only one of them is whether the factory can actually make good chips. The project is called Terafab. The newest official announcement names Tesla and SpaceX, with xAI now inside SpaceX as a likely demand source. Intel is the fabrication and process partner. So Terafab is not Tesla buying a few machines and becoming TSMC overnight. The plan combines logic, memory, packaging, and testing around manufacturing technology Intel already has. The main site is now in Grimes County, Texas. It was announced in Austin in March. By August, the main project had moved roughly 90 miles away. The plan is changing while people are already trying to value it. Start with the money. $16.8 billion is the announced initial investment. A May filing described $55 billion as a possible first phase. The same filing put full buildout as high as $119 billion. Those numbers sound like one giant commitment. They are not. SpaceX's own filing called the arrangement a general framework with no binding obligation to complete the full project. The signed local agreement requires $5 billion by 2030. The headline is $119 billion. The paperwork has much less money behind it today. And that makes Terafab almost the reverse of TSMC Arizona. TSMC's Arizona commitment has climbed to $265 billion, and its first fab is already producing chips. Terafab is still trying to prove how much of its promised scale will become real. So the first question is not whether $119 billion will earn a return. It is whether $119 billion ever gets spent. But assume the project does expand. Why build it at all? Tesla already designs custom AI chips, and SpaceX already designs specialized electronics. Neither company needs a fab just to create its own silicon. Apple, Google, and Amazon design custom chips too. They still outsource the manufacturing. Designing a chip and manufacturing one are different businesses. The designer decides what it should do. The foundry has to reproduce it at high yield on equipment that costs billions and ages quickly. Terafab is trying to pull those layers back together. The stated reason is future compute demand. Tesla sees potential demand from autonomous vehicles, Optimus robots, and AI training. SpaceX sees demand from Starlink, autonomous systems, and eventually space-based compute. The companies argue that future demand could become too large to trust entirely to outside suppliers. That is the strategic case. Control capacity, control more packaging, and shorten the loop between chip design and manufacturing. But here is the contradiction. Tesla is not walking away from outside foundries. It is doing the opposite. Tesla has a $16.5 billion agreement with Samsung tied to future AI chip production. Its current roadmap also continues to use TSMC. Terafab does not eliminate those relationships. It sits beside them. That means this is not really a story about semiconductor self-sufficiency. Even if the factory works, Terafab still needs outside lithography tools, manufacturing equipment, design software, materials, and memory suppliers. And Intel is not in the background. Intel is bringing the process technology and advanced packaging. So the cleaner financial question is not, can Tesla and SpaceX build every chip themselves? It is, can controlling one more layer of the stack become valuable enough to justify the capital? That is a much harder test, because the capital is enormous. Industry estimates put a modern leading-edge fab in the tens of billions of dollars. Some estimates for a 2-nanometer class facility run around $25 to $35 billion. That helps explain why $16.8 billion may represent only the beginning, and Terafab is planning its own natural gas generation instead of relying on the Texas grid. The fab is not just a building, it is an industrial system built to stay running. And just like TSMC Arizona, two variables can decide whether that system creates value or destroys it: yield and utilization. Yield is the share of chips that actually work. Terafab has no yield history because it is not producing yet. Intel's own 18A process has reportedly stabilized near roughly 65% yield at one stage of its Arizona ramp. That is not a terafab number, but it shows why the ramp matters. Imagine 100 potential chips. If 65 work, 35 units of possible output carry cost but produce no saleable chip. At 90% yield, only 10 are lost. Both cases make chips. The economics are different. Terafab has to reach competitive manufacturing performance. But yield is only half the asset. The other half is keeping the expensive equipment busy. A merchant foundry like TSMC spreads risk across many customers. One customer can slow, while another needs more capacity. Terafab is different. Tesla and SpaceX are supposed to provide most of the demand. That can guarantee utilization. It can also become the trap. If Optimus scales slowly, robotaxi demand misses expectations, orbital compute arrives late, or AI architectures change, there may be no outside customer waiting. The hidden variable is not how many chips Terafab can make. It is how many its owners still need when the factory is ready. And timing matters because fabs do not solve today's shortage today. TSMC's first Arizona fab took roughly 4 years from announcement to volume production. Terafab's production site is still pre-construction. Before volume output come construction, tool installation, qualification, and yield ramp. AI demand is exploding in 2026. The fab is a bet on demand years later. That is the first clock. And there is another one. The chip itself keeps changing. Reports around Terafab have described the target process as 2 nanometer, then Intel 18A, then 14A. Those reports are not consistent enough to treat one node as settled, but that inconsistency reveals the financial problem. The manufacturing roadmap can change while the concrete is still being planned. That is the second clock. Construction is racing technology. This is why the biggest vertical integration success stories stop one layer earlier. Apple, Google, and Amazon design custom chips. They do not own leading-edge fabs. And companies that did own fabs have sometimes spent enormous sums trying to escape them. AMD spun its fabs into what became global foundries. IBM later paid global foundries about $1.5 billion, along with 2 fabs, to take its money-losing manufacturing operation. Terafab is betting that owning more manufacturing is valuable again. And Tesla has its own warning. Its previous internal AI hardware moonshot, Dojo, was shut down in 2025 before Terafab was announced. A newer Dojo concept has since been discussed. Internal hardware strategies can change faster than factories. Terafab's demand case has to survive multiple product cycles. Then comes the biggest ambition in the entire project. The companies have talked about producing enough hardware for roughly 1 terawatt of AI compute per year. That phrase is not defined precisely enough to treat as a normal capacity number. Bernstein translated it into conventional semiconductor capacity and produced an estimate measured in trillions of dollars of cumulative capital. That is an analyst model, not the Terafab budget. The useful point is the gap between ambition and committed capital. Which brings us back to the opening. $5 billion is legally required. $16.8 billion is the announced initial investment. $119 billion is the potential full buildout. The farther out the number goes, the less certain it becomes. That changes how the economics should be judged. Do not ask whether the full Terafab pays off yet. Ask what has to happen before each next phase deserves to be built. Reduce the bet to 3 conditions. Condition 1, the manufacturing works. Intel's process, packaging, and the Terafab ramp have to reach yields good enough that internally produced chips are economically useful. Condition 2, internal demand stays enormous. Tesla and SpaceX have to consume enough accelerators, vehicle chips, robotics silicon, and specialized space hardware to keep expensive capacity full. Condition 3. The project has to outrun both clocks. Enough capital has to become real before the technology target moves again, but not so much capital that the factory arrives after today's shortage has already been solved by TSMC, Samsung, Intel, and everyone else expanding at the same time. If those conditions hold, Terafab does not need to replace TSMC. It only needs control of capacity to become more valuable than buying every chip from somebody else. That is the strong case. A dedicated manufacturing stack could guarantee supply and tighten the design loop. But flip the conditions. Yield ramps slowly. Internal demand arrives late. External foundries keep getting better. And the $119 billion vision stops looking like vertical integration. It starts looking like stranded industrial capacity. That is why the most important Terafab number is not $119 billion. Not yet. The important number is the gap between what has been announced and what has actually been committed. TSMC Arizona is already proving whether $265 billion can work. Terafab is one step earlier. It is still proving whether the next $1 billion should be spent at all. And that may be the real follow-up to the TSMC story. The chip shortage made manufacturing capacity look priceless. Now, Tesla and SpaceX are testing whether owning more of that capacity is actually worth the price.